as in if there are any actual arrests on his history, but if there are, then that'll certainly hurt him there. But that's gonna rule out quite a few players.
Yeah, well, you never know with Vince McMahon whether he might make an exception here or there, but I find it hard to believe with the talent pool what it is that he would really make too many exceptions. If you're going to come up with a philosophy, it would be wise to keep it in order to not jeopardize your credibility, but I think you're right.
Certainly.
So with that said, there's a smart guy by the name of Brock Osweiler who had 7 seasons and $41.4 million. Not bad for 7 seasons worth of work, if we can get it.
Absolutely. I mean, yes, he has opted to retire before he's even 30. He had a former Texans starter and obviously Broncos starter at one point as well during the Manning years. He has decided to retire after just 7 years in the NFL, but who can blame him? He earned, as you mentioned, $41.4 million during his tenure in the league. Most of that comes from his contract with that monster contract he signed with the Texans, which obviously proved to be a huge mistake.
Right.
He's never actually fussed. He never started a full season in his career. He only started 30 games. He went 15 and 15 in that period. And I think, if I remember correctly, he's averaged about $2.7 million per victory in income. It's absolutely ridiculous. So who can blame him? He's not had a great couple of years anyway. When he had played in the league, he wasn't very good for the Dolphins last year. So he didn't have much future in the league, and he's walking out of it with plenty of money and plenty of time. And let's be honest, he's walking out with it with his health as well. So who can blame him?
Yeah, I don't want to set Lewis off here, but I probably will anyways. But Bobby Bonilla's agent was pretty smart when he got that cartload of money. But I'll tell you, I wouldn't mind having Brock Osweiler's agent either. Just thought I'd throw that out there because I knew the reaction of Lewis was going to be there. All right, go ahead, Lewis.
Now, Anthony, what do you think he's going to do after this? I heard some ramblings that he may go back and do some college sportscasting at his old Arizona State University. I've heard some rumors about that. Scott, Anthony, what do you guys think? Does that have any...
It wouldn't surprise me at all. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if he ended up doing some sportscast. I mean, that's actually, to be honest, as soon as you asked where he was going to go, that was where my mind went first. He's a very well-educated individual. He's very well-spoken as well. So he's not got any bad bone in his body as far as the league's concerned as well. He's as clean as they come. So, I mean, he would be a perfect color analyst. And see where it goes from there really depends on what kind of personality he conveys. He was always very quiet in the meetings and in press conferences and such. So let's see what he's like as color analyst. But yeah, I think he'd be a good fit there because he is a very smart guy. He may not have been a great player, but he's got a good brain.
Well, yeah, at least he has one because it probably hadn't had that many concussions either. So his brain probably isn't scrambled eggs. Gets out of there with $41.4 million and a lot of his body parts intact. Yeah, why not? I mean, if you move back to Arizona, making a few dollars like he did, yeah, I think he's going to be all right. Listen, Matt Leinart didn't do very well either, and he's in broadcasting, so they'll take a lot of these wonder boys and make a decent amount of money, but more power to Brock.
Brock Osweiler, the great finesser, as he should be called at this point.
Gets the Super Bowl ring at $41.4 million. Of course, who knows what he got after taxes, but
it was funny the other day, obviously, the Texans recently, they inducted their second member to the Texans Ring of Honor in Bob McNair a couple weeks ago, and I was saying yesterday, as soon as he retired, I was like, well, that's their third Ring of Honor member sorted there.
Okay, well, let's go on to your next topic. That's Demaryius Thomas, right?
Yes, absolutely. So Demaryius Thomas, obviously, another very, let's be honest, a very well-known name around the league. A fantastic wide receiver. Coming towards the end of his career, if we're being honest, he has admitted that he was very unhappy with how he was his situation was dealt with by the Patriots. So obviously the Jets are playing the Patriots in Week 7, and he has said, I quote, once I got cut, I could have just come here to the Jets and not stayed there and re-signed. When they re-signed me, I was thinking that I was good. 2 weeks later, I was gone. So it's like, why did I waste my time? Because at the end of the day, it was kind of a waste of time for me. He said, it was disrespectful to me. Like, you could trust me and I could trust you. You told me you could cut me. You cut me at the final cut. Sit around, you'll bring me back, and I stayed. I could have easily become a Jet once I got cut. I could have come here the next day once I got released, but I chose to stay. So he said it was insulting for sure. And I mean, who can blame him, if we're being honest? I mean, at the end of the day, this is the NFL. This is just the business they're in, and to a point, he should have expected that. But to the same token, if they brought him back, and he is such a well-known name and such a very well-respected player around the league, it was somewhat insulting to cut him the way they did. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, again, the New England Patriots have a certain way of doing business, and that's how they did it. They don't think you can play; they're going to let you go. But yeah, I found that a little bit peculiar that they've done that. especially knowing that he could have signed with the Jets. But either way, he's still in the league, and he has a chance to go from Brady to Sam Darnold. It's not the worst option on the planet to be able to catch passes from Sam, a good young up-and-comer in the league. So yeah,
I really hope he has a fantastic game this weekend. I really do, just because who doesn't love a bit of a sort of grudge rematch? Sort of even if it's just between one person and a whole team. Who doesn't want him to have a good game this weekend?
I mean, I do see his point. I'm not going to beat up on the guy for making those comments. He just spoke from his heart, and he did. But meanwhile, he's still getting paid. I guess the only question is what state taxes are higher, New York or Massachusetts? We know they're both located off, I believe, I-95, right? So just a few hours up the road. So I get it. I'm not going to beat up on the guy. What about you, Lewis?
I mean, as far as what Demaryius Thomas being released is concerned, a lot of people tend to leave the Patriots that way, but it's just the way that they do business. We know that they really don't like to spend money unless they drafted you and they know you. I mean, examples being Gronk, Edelman, Brady. There's maybe a few other names I can list, Gostowski. But if they pick you up, you're going to be there for a certain amount of time. Look at Chris Hogan, who, in the Belichick system turned into, a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver. And where did he leave? He left and he got a multi-year deal, I believe, with the Panthers. So,
right.
I mean, it's just how they do business, but they continue to win, and nobody's going to question it unless you're the one, who's playing for them.
No, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. So, on to another Miami Dolphins low light. Okay, who are they shopping, Anthony Wood?
Yes, they are shopping running back Kenyon Drake. His role did diminish a little bit last year, and he hasn't quite performed as they expected from the third rounder in his time with the Dolphins. He's set to hit free agency at the end of this season, so it's not overly surprising that they're trying to shop him now. But it's kind of ironic that yesterday the NFL said that there's no evidence of any teams looking to tank. Well, if this is one of their last few viable weapons on offense, and they're trying to get rid of him while they can, I think that says it all. At this point in time, there are very few rumors as to where he's actually going to go. I'm sure someone will be willing to pick him up in free agency, if nothing else. Whether they're willing to part with a draft pick for someone who hasn't really performed to their expectations, I doubt it. So I think he will end up with the Dolphins for the rest of this year, personally. But who knows? It's not long now till the deadline. He may well get picked up. But I think it says all about the Dolphins really at this point in time. Fitzpatrick's gone, Tunsil's gone, Stills is gone. Who's next? Devontae Parker after this? I mean,
yeah, right.
It's ridiculous.
So if you had, I'll just say you had an educated guess about where you think Drake would fit, where do you think he would go? It's a guess.
It's a tough call because that's the thing at this point in time. This is a pretty poor time, if I'm honest, to be looking to ship your running back because there's a lot of good backs in the league,
right.
And there's a lot of depth at most teams. I mean, that's a really tough call at this point in time. Perhaps someone like Titans. Derrick Henry hasn't been fantastic recently, right. But I can't really see them bringing him in, if I'm honest. Other than that, there's not a huge market for him at this point in time. Mm-hmm. Perhaps look at someone like the Panthers looking for a bit of depth, but again, I can't really see him fitting in there. So it's just not a great time for them.
It's okay. Nothing wrong with speculative questions. That's what we're in the business to do, is try to give information and opinions. It's all no big deal. All right, well, we'll go on to one that you can probably easily go ahead and talk about, named Darren Waller. What's going on with him?
Yes, Darren Waller, the Raiders tight end has been tied down to a new deal. This was a breakout year for him, really. I mean, he's been honest in the past. If you watched Hard Knocks over the summer, you will have seen him talk about his battles with his love for the game, or lack of, at one point when he was drafted by the Ravens, and his problems with addictions whilst there as well. And he was almost out of the league, but he's cleaned himself up. He's cleaned his act up. He's back in love with the game, and he's playing fantastically well. They've signed a contract extension through 2023. It's expected to be around $9 million per season. That's a very good deal from the Raiders' point of view, especially after they obviously lost Jared Cook not overly long ago, and they needed a long-term replacement, and he is certainly the guy. If he can keep this form up so far, he's caught 37 passes for 359 yards. That's not bad for a tight end, let's be honest. So that's a good deal for Waller. Hopefully he can keep his head clean and keep going the way he's at, because he's a fantastic tight end when he's healthy.
Well, what I like about the move actually is the fact that, you got John Gruden, Derek Carr. Nothing wrong with having a good, reliable tight end, in case your receiving core isn't what you really hoped it would be. So I consider a safe move.
Absolutely, I completely agree, and I think it's very much the right move from their point of view. He's a reliable target, and that's something they need, especially given obviously their receiver core is slightly thinner than they expected at this point in time. So it's a good move from their point of view. I think every team should have at least one tight end that they know they can. He's sort of a safety blanket for QB.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about the Chiefs and the Broncos tonight. And I know your favorite sport is what you saved for the end. I like the way you slipped that one in, but start off with tonight, then we'll let you go ahead and talk about what you're about to talk about.
Yes, so Chiefs Broncos obviously has already kicked off. 5 minutes left to play in the first quarter. It's 6-0 to the Broncos. They have scored a touchdown. Joe Flacco's 4 for 47 yards. Royce Freeman with the rushing touchdown. Chiefs as well. I mean, Patrick Mahomes so far is 3 of 4, 19 yards. They need to be really careful with him though, because his ankle has not looked good these last couple of weeks. He hurt it again against the Texans. He's someone to look out for. This offensive line is not playing well. It's not playing to where they need it to. And as soon as he gets flushed out of the pocket, that Broncos defense is going to be after him. So that's going to be something worth watching. How does Mahomes move around out of the pocket? So yeah, keep a close eye on that one. That should be a very interesting matchup. I'm looking forward to seeing that Broncos defense throughout this game, and especially towards the end of the game, once that Chiefs defense, mainly the backups in there, start to get a little bit tired. That could be interesting.
Okay. Well, you can always, Lewis is our crack update guy, so he'll provide updates on that game later on in the night. All right, and since you have an opportunity to go ahead and talk about...
Of course, I wasn't going to miss out on a chance to mention this.
No, I know. When I saw it, I knew it was definitely you. Go ahead. You got 4 minutes to talk about it.
Yes, there is it would appear at least that there's an agreement in place for another Formula One race in the USA coming 2021 in Miami. Now, there's no news. As far as I'm aware, they're going to keep the Circuit of the Americas in Austin on the calendar as well, which would mean there's going to be 2 races on the Formula One calendar come 2021 in the United States. It's a not overly surprising decision. They base it basically around Hard Rock Stadium. Is basically where the track's going to be.
Right.
It's all in the sort of preparation stages at this point in time, but it does look like it's going to be happening, and it's not surprising because they are desperate to break into the American market more. I mean, you look at the Haas team coming in as well. There's people discussing whether or not we're going to get another American team come into the sport over the next year or two. They are trying to break the US market as much as they can, and this Miami Grand Prix is going to be their attempt to push for it even more. So it's not overly surprising. Not personally what I would have chosen, and I know a lot of Formula One, I guess you could say, diehard fans are not going to be overly happy with this when they're cutting some of the more historic tracks back in Europe. The German Grand Prix, for example, has been cut. It's disappointing, but it's understandable at the same time. I mean, is this finally going to convince you to go and watch a Formula One race?
Oh, I don't know. All I know is I was surprised it failed in Indianapolis. So I don't know. I might possibly see if I could get credentialed for it, but I'd have to really be completely stoned to want to consider doing it. But I don't know. I'll say never. I know you're waiting for that one too. I know you really set me up for that. I enjoy it. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you this. What I do like is endurance racing by IMSA. I don't know if you follow that much, but we do cover the Sebring, 12 hours of Sebring and some of the other races. So, and I have covered NASCAR and Indy cars before. So, it's not like I don't have auto racing in my blood. I've never been able to get a grasp on Formula One. And I was surprised that they failed in Indianapolis of all places. But I'll just say this about this. Okay, if Stephen Ross wants it, Stephen Ross will get it. I mean, he's fixed up that stadium and brought tennis courts to the Miami Open. There'll be Formula racing there, and you know what? It will succeed there. I really do believe. But to answer your question, right now would be like you answering the Kenyon Drake one. Push. I don't know. My grandma Sophie once said, "Never say never." Well, that's as far as I'm going to go with that one.
I will convince you yet, but yeah, to me it does look like it's near as good a done deal at this point in time. There's an article that said that the Dolphins, Tom Garfinkel and F1's Sean Bratches have said, I quote, "We are thrilled to announce that Formula One and Hard Rock Stadium have reached an agreement in principle to host the first ever Formula One Miami Grand Prix at Hard Rock Stadium." So I mean, the fact that the Dolphins are in on this as well, if the money's there, which it is, it's going to happen at some point, whether it's 2021 or slightly later. It all depends on when that's all prepared.
First of all,
this is their attempt to push into the U.S. market as much as physically possible.
All right, well, let me tell you this. Number one, it will happen as long as Stephen Ross has anything to do with it. which, by the way, he has everything to do with that.